What is intermodal communication? Intermodal communication is communication across different modes. So, in terms of ways we can communicate with each other, the obvious one is language. We use language to communicate with each other, but that wasn't the first way that humans communicated. The first way humans communicated would have been with body language. To quote Ursula from The Little Mermaid. Um, Body language is still important, but because we have language, a lot of times we overlook body language. Um, and those two methods are not the only ways we communicate with each other. One interesting thing that I learned from an Adam Neely video is about how jazz musicians will sort of use their instruments to communicate with each other. You can kind of lock into a groove, and that's a form of communication in and of itself. So the idea with intermodal communication is that some people communicate using one primary method. So, for instance, I am big on words, and I write a lot, I read a lot, but there's probably somebody out there who doesn't have time to read the vast essay that I started writing about this very concept, and they want it in a nutshell. So, you know, distilling it down, trying to capture the essence and being able to communicate that, that's what it's about. And it's sort of an attempt to overcome miscommunication. Arrival, the movie from 2016 by Denis Villeneuve, based on the short story The Story of Your Life by Ted Chiang. That movie had a real impact on me because it is this attempt to talk with an alien species, who communicates entirely differently than we do, who has an entirely different, like, mathematical structure, concept of time, all of these perceptions that are totally different. And so when I watched that movie, I thought, well, what if we thought of each other as aliens? What if we thought of each other not as just having the same baseline knowledge and understanding, but of having something else? And then my cats came into it because I thought about, well, how do you communicate with cats? And you may or may not know this, but cats communicate primarily through body language. Kittens mew and meow, but adult cats do not meow at each other. They developed that to communicate with us. And that is why cats meowing can sound like babies crying. They are actually imitating human babies to get what they want. And so I started paying more attention to my cats. I found out that if you slow blink at cats, I didn't find this out through observational research, I read this somewhere. If you slow blink at a cat, or if a cat slow blinks at you, rather, that means that it loves you, or at least that it trusts you, which with cats is practically the same thing. And so I started slow blinking at my cats when they would slow blink at me, and my interactions with my cats became a little bit sweeter. But yeah, some of it is my research that I do for myself around this whole concept. A lot of it is observational. It involves a lot of mirroring of other people's patterns. And some people are better at that than others. But yeah, that is the idea. I may make a cleaner version of this later, a longer version that is probably self-indulgent, which I'm allowed to do. But yeah, that's what it is. Ciao.